Just getting the opportunity to work with Darch and continue with the organization, what does that mean to you?
Means a lot. This is obviously something I was always interested in, especially later in my career. Spent obviously a long time with Lou. Learned a lot from him, and the first week or so it's been with Darcy. Been learning a lot from him too, and I think Islanders organization's in great hands with him. He's a pretty innovative guy, has a lot of good ideas, and I'm excited to learn from him and work from him.
Was the front office position kind of something you thought about, you wanted in your playing days, or how did this come about?
Yeah, I think ultimately, two things that interest me were getting involved with management or TV, and when this was kind of presented to me, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to learn and do a little bit of everything and stay involved with the organization I love. That's the most important thing. So, like I said, I'm excited for the opportunity, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Without trying to put words into your mouth, down the road, do you see this as leading to when the kids are older? Could you see yourself stepping into a GM role when you learn the business?
Yeah, I think, if you asked me before even I took this job, that would be one of the things that interests me, post-hockey. So, obviously, for now, it's just about, I really do want to learn the ins and outs of everything. And I think Darcy's said, I'm going to have the ability to do a lot of different things, and spent some time with the scouts this week, spent at the draft. It's pretty cool to see all the behind the scenes things that as a player you don't focus on or think about. So it's a totally different perspective, and a lot of different decisions have to be made, obviously, that you don't really think about it as a player. So it's been enjoyable so far.
How tough or how comfortable do you think you'll be? Like you just said, it's a different role. These guys were just your teammates, a couple of months ago, and now you're more in an evaluation role, and you have a say in some of their futures. How is that transition?
Well, I don't know how much of a say I have in anyone's future.
But Darsh does want input from you.
Yeah, well, certainly, and at the end of the day, Darcy makes the decisions. I'm right now just, like I said, learning the ropes, and when he wants my opinion on something, could be anything. I'm happy to give it to him, and but yeah, like you said, it's a different role. A lot of these guys that I'm friends with, I remain friends with, and that really won't deviate from that perspective. I think at the end of the day, players. When I was a player, it's a business as well, and then. Just this week, obviously, a pretty good friend of mine got traded, and I was at his wedding the other day. So, that's the business, that's the sport, and but like I said, it's pretty cool to just experience it from a different point of view, a different perspective, and in a lot of ways feel like a rookie up there. So you're just learning the ins and outs of everything that goes on around organization.
Congrats on your retirement. In short, how do you look back and reflect on your career?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't done a ton of that yet. In some ways, obviously, I retired from playing, but like the goal still remains the same. Want to win a cup here and bring a cup to Long Island. So, when everyone says congrats on retirement, I really don't feel retired, but I do have to do some reflecting. There's so many people to thank. Obviously, and so many people that helped me along the way that you ultimately I think I said this at the end of the year too, I really got to sit back and make sure I don't leave anybody out, and a time will come for that. Like I said, I took this position a week ago, and I feel like I've been in the office for the last 7 days basically, and Kimber's been leaving before I have, so that's different, but like I said, I'm just excited to remain with the team, and excited for the next step.
You have that long line of fans waiting for you, and you were so generous with your time and meeting all of them, signing autographs, taking photos. How do you kind of reflect on being such a fan favorite on Long Island?
Well, it's special, and you never take that for granted. you know, that's why I've always loved doing things like that. Always loved getting involved in the community because, you know, really from day one, they've embraced me as a player, as a person, supported all my events, foundations, anything. So, you know, taking 45 minutes of your time to sign some autographs isn't really a big deal at the end of the day. It's, I think it's important. I think we have a lot of great young kids that were doing the same thing after the practice. So, you know, it's a part of pro sports that I think is important for the athlete not to lose sight of, just how important the fans are and you know, what they mean to a team. So, like I said, the kids were great at you know, signing autographs after practice as well.
How cool is it for you, I mean, Boychuk, Seidenberg, you, Hickey, Kleberg, that you guys have all stopped playing, but you're all still teammates, essentially?
Yeah, it's great. You know, still spend time with Clutter pretty well. You know, all the time I see him in the summer, whether we're golfing or he comes over, I go there. But yeah, a lot of guys that spent a long time here had an impression on the organization that stuck around. And, you know, I think JB and Sides, obviously, being on the ice, you see already the type of relationship they have with some of these kids. It's important for them. They're good examples, good role models for them, especially some of the young D that we got this year. You know, they play their part. They play a very important part.
Have you actually eased up on the off-season training, or like, are you still like? How hard has that been for you if you're not like training for a season?
Yeah, well, Kimber just pulled me off the treadmill to come talk to you guys. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, no, I still, you know, listen, I enjoy working out in general, so it's something I want to try to continue to do as much as possible. You know, I think it's important just for, you know, your mindset, really. Always enjoyed that aspect of it. I'll continue to do it. Haven't got a lot of it in this week, but I'd imagine now that the draft and free agency and all that stuff's over, that things will kind of slow down around here.
Does that include like getting on the ice and working up a sweat that way?
I haven't gotten on the ice yet. I don't know when I will. I'll definitely you know, still lace them up from time to time, but no, I won't be skating 5 days a week anymore. That's for sure.
What are you impressed about the job that you're doing now? What do you see, or what have you learned this week?
I mean, like I say, you learn. You know, I'm not going to get into details,
No,
but
okay,
you just learn a lot of different things. You know, I think generally as a player, you think you know everything, and you know, you see it from a whole nother perspective. There's so much that goes on up there from an organizational standpoint that you've never thought about or looked at before. You know, as a player, you just come to the rink, prepare yourself to play, and do your job to the best of your ability. But it's a lot of different people upstairs that are doing a lot of different things to make this thing go round. So, you know, it really does take a village to run an organization. And like I said, Darcy's been amazing. Just you know, inputs on anything really, not even player related. Just you know, things that we can do around the team, around the fan base, whatever. You know, he said it to me 100 times that he wants to be challenged. He wants to hear your thoughts and ideas, and you know, it's been a great relationship so far. I've really enjoyed spending time with him, and you know, look forward to learning a lot more from him, just like I did from Lou. So you know, it's two very different personality types, two different ways of running things, but not saying one's better than the other. Just it's pretty cool to see. I'm very fortunate to have obviously learned from Lou and now learn from Darcy as well. I feel like that can go a long way for me moving forward.
Does
do you make
does the learning curve right now sort of remind you of being like a rookie or you know, as a player, where everything is like you're just taking in so much information right now?
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, and I think obviously I'm coming with a lot of my stuff from a player perspective, so I do think that can be useful for Darcy as well. You know, obviously, 10 years from now, I'll have a little bit of a disconnect from the playing aspect of it, right? So I think that's why he's been pretty good with, you know, listening to my ideas and my thoughts, and you know, on the other side of the scale, me absorbing information that. There's a lot that I don't understand that goes into a lot of different decisions. So it is nice to just try to absorb it and be a sponge and learn not only from him, but like I said, I spent a lot of time with the scouts over the last few days too, just having conversations with them. I think it's important to understand what everyone does, how vital, important they are to an organization. Gives you a better understanding of their importance, and like I said, ultimately it's something I want to do down the road. I think it's good to kind of have some knowledge and a little bit of everything.
What's your initial thoughts on Schaefer, just the person and the player?
I mean, well, the player's, obviously he's a spectacular player. I knew that from watching him World Juniors, and then he gets hurt, and you could just see the difference in the Canadian team from that point forward. So, but he's an impressive person. I think I spent 45 minutes with him the other day, just chatting with him. Very social kid, and very mature, obviously, for 17, 18? 17, yeah.
18 in September, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, he's as impressive, forget the age, he's as impressive as an individual I've been around in my career, even at this point. Just you think about what he's gone through, what he's experienced, and how he's handled it all. It's remarkable, really.
With your community involvement, you always said he looked up to Clark Gillies and Schaefer, the way he's kind of already making a difference. What quality, how does that make a difference, especially from the lens of character players coming into the organization?
I think it's massive. Like I said, just the fans, we don't do what we do without the fans, right? So to have an understanding and appreciation for that, I think is a very important thing. I think it means a lot, obviously, to the people that follow you, and it's a way of giving back. And I learned that from Clarkie and Boomer and people in my life, and obviously everything Matthew's gone through. He it's kind of started at a younger age than even I did. So hats off to him for that, and he'll continue to obviously mature and get older, and but he's so far ahead of the game than even I was at that age that it's pretty impressive to see.
Does your role include Bridgeport stuff too?
I think so. I mean, I'm going to find out as I go here, know. But yeah, I think he's, like I said, he's given me the opportunity to touch a little bit of everything, be involved in a lot of different things. Obviously, I got 4 kids at home now, so but I still want to be with them. But I'll certainly go on trips to Bridgeport. I imagine maybe do some development trips to see some of the young kids where they're playing in junior or college, and ultimately I'm here to work as well. So I'm sure he has some things in mind for me that I'll be doing.